Diary, hello. It is a wonderful summer's day in England, as you can see by the lighting. Even though the studio lights are on, it's still a bit grim. And I'd like to talk to you about the existential choice maybe, between the Apple MacBook Air and the Apple MacBook Pro. Now, if you've been following along on the channel, you'll realise that recently I spent what I consider to be a preposterous amount of money on an Apple MacBook Pro M4 Max powered laptop and managed to get quite a large discount on that laptop. But when I received that laptop, two things became very clear. First of all, although it was the 14-inch version, it was surprisingly heavy. Not just when it came in the packaging, which very much surprised me. When I got it out of the packaging and just used it as a laptop, it was surprisingly heavy. And my dream, if you like, of using one machine as a workstation and also a portable workstation and a portable device has been shattered, principally because of the weight, actually. And as we'll see, the weight that I've looked up in the specs is not that much different, but still it was enough. So now, as of today, which is Monday the 17th of March, after a bit of ordering, I am now the proud owner of a new MacBook Air. And I've obviously not fallen for the Apple marketing kerfuffle, but this is a sky blue one. But since the laptop will, of course, be covered with the skin in a few days, I don't really care what colour it is. Perhaps the new owner, when it's sold, would care. Anyway, I thought I'd review why I've gone back to the MacBook Air as my portable workstation of choice, and why I've sent back the MacBook Pro M4 Max, deliciously powerful though it was. So the rationale is let's look at the specs of the machine that I've just received in the UPS post. And by the way, it was ordered on the 5th of March. I think orders weren't officially shipping till the 12th of March. It was going to come on the 20th of March, but UPS managed to get it here on the 17th. And it would have been 2 days earlier, but apparently they don't deliver at the weekends. So it was actually in England 2 days ago. That's in the subject of another video. If you're interested in the other video, there is a video about the cardboard unboxing and the packaging of the laptop, which I think you might find interesting. Anyway, so here are the specs of the new MacBook Air that I've ordered. And as you can see, I've pretty much maxed out the device. So in particular, I've gone for a huge amount of memory because, as your grandmother always told me, in the 70s and 80s, you can never have too much memory in a portable device. And also quite a large amount of storage. Now, I found out that the current laptop, which was the bargain basement, I've got props. This is the current MacBook Air that I use all the time as a portable workstation, and I absolutely love it. And I shall give you the reasons why, the principal reasons why I love this so much, as to why we're going for the MacBook Air Part Mark II, if you like. Skin. This has 256 gigabytes of disk, and it really is not enough. Even though all the data is pretty much not stored on this laptop, I do carry around some encrypted data files, and I found out, for example, that sometimes when I do a Mac OS upgrade, I've got to delete all the data files effectively, because otherwise it just doesn't fit, which is quite surprising. So we've gone for this 1 terabyte of storage, which is a sufficient subset to keep my iMovie movie file portable. So what I tend to do now with iMovie is every year I start a new file, and I will carry that file, which is a single directory with a lot of files inside of it. I can move that entire space onto a new laptop. or a laptop whilst I'm traveling. And then when I get back, I move it back to the main workstation. But I found out that 1 terabyte should be about enough to keep the iMovie file whilst traveling. So that's why I selected that storage. Anything more than 1 terabyte, and the cost, it's already pretty prohibitive, but 2 terabytes and higher is crazy pricing. And that's just Apple. Typical Apple, they really fleece you when it comes to memory costs and disk costs. So in the article I'm writing, I'm trying to say to everyone that if you only have the budget or the, should I say unprofessionalism, or should I just sort of say the amateurishness to have one workstation, then sure, the MacBook Pro M4 Max is probably the device for you, the 14-inch or the 16-inch. It's up to you. But I think a much more professional configuration and a much more resilient and redundant configuration in the case of theft, for example, is to have a separate workstation which you keep at home and a portable workstation that you carry around with you. So in the event of a theft at either end, either at your home where your workstation gets stolen, or you're traveling and your portable workstation gets stolen, you do have a backup. That's a main consideration for me, because I do unfortunately live in the real world where people can steal these items. I once, by the way, had an occasion where I went into an airport, put my laptop in the scanning device, and the guy in front of me put his laptop into one of those plastic trays. Got stolen at the airport. So literally someone stole his laptop. It came out of the bag scan, I guess, on the other side. Someone just picked it up, walked off. They were shouting and screaming. So thefts can happen quite easily, even when you think you're in a secure environment, such as an airport scan. So I thoroughly recommend that people have a dual workstation environment, your home workstation and your portable workstation. Sweetie? What can I say? Baby? Can we just wait till we've gone through the benefits of MacBook Air versus MacBook Pro? So the main engineering reason why I love this laptop, we'll look at the old laptop, showing it's just the same as a new laptop by the CPU bump, is that there's no fan. This has, apart from the hinge, this has no moving parts, and that's very significant to me. The MacBook Pro, of course, has 2 fans and 2 sets of vents, and is, I guess, marginally noisier in operation. But the fact that it's got more moving parts, it's just more things to go wrong. You've got dust ingress, you've got a slight noise, and this device, the MacBook Air, is so thin and light. And that comes to the second point, which is that the MacBook Pro is, I think it's 1.62 kilograms, not 0.63. The MacBook Pro M4 Max is about 40% heavier than the MacBook Air. And call me a wimp, but that really does make a difference. And this 13.3-inch device is so thin that it just fits inside my ultra marathon rucksack, for example, without any hesitation. I can get this out on a plane, I can get this out when I'm traveling, I can get this out when I'm at the doctor's, which tends to be more frequently than I'd like. And it's an absolute pleasure to hulk around. Whereas the MacBook Pro, as opposed to the Air, it just wasn't. In terms of the specs, you do have to make quite a lot of sacrifices. So I'll just go over what sacrifices I've had to make for my portable workstation. So that as configured, I've got 10 CPUs, which is 4 performance and 6 efficiency cores. I've got 10 core GPU, and I've got 16 neural. And the MacBook Pro M4 Max has got 14 CPUs, 10 performance, 4 efficiency, 32 GPUs, and 16 neural. The memory bandwidth, which is still I mean, these numbers, I do understand what these numbers are. And in terms of when I, having worked for a large computer manufacturer for many decades, I mean, the mainframe memory architecture, I think I recall, was of something like 600 gigabytes per second. And that was at least £500,000 computer going back a few years. So now we're talking about a laptop having 410 gigabytes per second memory bandwidth, which is it's just bonkers. So the MacBook Air has got 120 gigabytes per second, and I absolutely know what a gigabyte per second, not a gigabit per second is. The screen is not as bright, but I've never found that to be a real issue. You can't configure the special screen coating on the MacBook Air. That's a shame. Both of them have got exceptional battery life. And like I say, without the fan, I would suspect that the MacBook Air is going to come out on tops most of the time. The MacBook Air does not have an HDMI port, which is a bit of a pain if you're doing presentations. I don't do presentations that often, so for me, it's not a really big issue. But if you do presentations a lot of the time, then again, it probably swings the balance towards the MacBook Pro, but you really don't want to have to carry a dongle around. Although these days, quite a lot of devices have got AirPlay. So most televisions, for example, have got AirPlay, and you can stream wirelessly from your workstation, your portable workstation, to the television set. We've only got Thunderbolt 4 on the MacBook Air, not Thunderbolt 5. Again, I'm almost beginning to regret my decision now when I've listed out all these disadvantages. But 80 gigabits per second. Well, there's a number of points to note. First of all, there aren't really any Thunderbolt 5 docks or disk enclosures, and believe me, I have searched high and low on Google, on international websites, on AliExpress, and they're just starting to come out. So I don't think they're going to be out for at least, in a competitive way, for at least 12 months. Okay, so if you buy your MacBook Pro now, you're not going to really use those ports. Of course, Thunderbolt 5 is a lot quicker, and we don't have as many ports on the MacBook Air. However, that's a compromise I'm willing to make. Both got the better Wi-Fi, so we've got 6 gigahertz Wi-Fi, and we've both now got the 12 megapixel webcam. So where are we? We're at the fact that really the deciding factor was that I wanted a thinner and lighter laptop, something that's very, very easy to put into your rucksack. And this laptop, or let's look at the new laptop, which, like I say, is just really a spec bump, is just the same, really. I'm sorry, babe, but can I'll put it over here so you're not impacted, shall I? Let's go over here, and then we've got the laptop over here. So as you can see, the laptop is visually identical, but the most important thing to me, it's not a wedge design, it's just a solid bit of aluminium housing that single motherboard, and there are no fans. So for me, the deciding factors were no fans, the svelte design, the lighter weight, and the fact that I don't think in real life on the road I'm going to miss the huge power advantage of the MacBook Pro M4 Max. And I'll certainly not miss the fact that it's half the price. But still, it's nudging towards £2,000 instead of nudging towards £4,000. Both prices, by the way, are pretty preposterous. I've got my last prop, which is my lovely, infamous, lightweight Samsung Galaxy 2 Pro laptop, which is specially bought because it's the last iteration which has a plastic back, which makes it extremely light. And this is a 15-inch laptop, not a 13.3. So with my awful eyesight, this is an easier read without glasses, for example. So in the Windows world, I'd still recommend this laptop. And this laptop, from a price point of view, is about £500 or £600, not £2,000 for Apple. So it depends what budget you're working to, but still, I recommend the MacBook Air as a portable powerhouse and workstation, and at home you're going to have a different Apple device to be covered later. All right, Dari, that's it for now. I've got some important catwalking to do. I think my princess you've reached the limit, haven't you, darling? Eh? Yeah, she's reached the limit. We need to go for a walk, and it's goodbye from me and goodbye from her. Thanks for watching.